Have you ever walked through a parking lot and thought you knew every truck out there? Ford, Chevy, Dodge, the usual suspects. What if I told you some of the wildest pickup trucks ever built in America were produced in numbers so small that most people have never heard of them? Trucks made in the dozens, sometimes single digits. Today, we are counting down the 20 rarest American pickup trucks ever built. If you enjoy this deep dive, hit that like button and subscribe. Let us get into it. Number 20. The Chevrolet SSR. You want a pickup that is also a convertible, looks like something from the 50s, and has a Corvette engine. That is the Chevrolet SSR, or Super Sport Roadster. Chevrolet unveiled the concept at the 2000 Detroit Auto Show, and the crowd went wild. So Chevy built it, starting in 2003. Our first models came with a 5.3-liter Vortec 5.8, making 300 horsepower. By 2005, Chevy dropped in the LS2 from the Corvette, pumping out 390 horses, and you could get a 6-speed manual. The retractable hardtop folded at a button press, and it rode on its own unique platform. But it was expensive, nearly $50,000 when new, and the bed was tiny, barely useful beyond groceries. Buyers did not know whether it was a truck, a sports car, or a novelty. Sales never matched expectations. Only around 24,000 were built before the plug was pulled in 2006. Today they are gaining a cult following, especially the LS2 models with the manual. Weird, wonderful, and surprisingly rare. Number 19. The Chevrolet 454 SS. In 1990, Chevrolet did something beautifully simple. They took their smallest, lightest half-ton pickup, the regular cab short bed C1500, and crammed the biggest engine they had into it. The 454 SS packed a 7.4-liter big block V8, making 230 horsepower and 385 pound-feet of torque. It came exclusively in onyx black with a blacked-out grille and garnet red bucket seats. Chevy included Bilstein shocks, sport-tuned suspension, and fat 275 tires. This was a burnout machine with a registration. For 91, power jumped to 255 horses with a 4-speed automatic. White and red colors arrived in 92, but sales dropped hard after the first year. Of roughly 16,953 total units, about 80% were 90 models. Later years are genuinely scarce, with fewer than 1,500 built annually. Today, younger collectors are driving values up fast, with excellent condition examples climbing over 20% in a single year. The truck that started the modern muscle truck movement is finally getting its due. Number 18. The Ford F-1 50S VT Lightning, first generation. When Chevrolet launched the 454 SS and GMC unleashed the Syclone, Ford was sitting on the sidelines watching its rivals have all the fun. That changed in 1993 when Ford's special vehicle team got their hands on the F-150 and created the first-generation Lightning. Under the hood sat a massaged 5.8-liter Windsor Phaev, 8 producing 240 horsepower and 340 pound-feet of torque. In a truck that rode on a lowered suspension with specially tuned shocks, upgraded sway bars, and quick-ratio steering, it was a revelation. Ford kept it simple: regular cab, short bed, rear-wheel drive. No four-wheel drive option, no extended cab, no nonsense. Just a driver-focused performance truck that handled like nothing else in the full-size segment. The Lightning proved that a full-size pickup could be genuinely fun to drive. Ford built the Lightning on a platform that was already 13 years old at that point, which makes the handling and performance achievement even more impressive. Over its 3-year production run from 93 to 95, Ford moved 11,563 units. The first-gen Lightning laid the groundwork for the supercharged second generation and eventually the legendary Raptor. It was the truck that proved Ford could play the sport truck game too. Number 17. The Chevrolet Cameo Carrier. Before pickup trucks were lifestyle vehicles, before crew cabs and heated seats became standard, there was the Cameo carrier. In 1955, GM designer Chuck Jordan convinced Chevy to build a luxury pickup. Take the new Task Force trucks, add smooth fiberglass rear fenders, car-like interior appointments with carpeting and two-tone upholstery, and sell it as a premium hauler. Chevy contracted Molded Fiberglass of Ohio, the same company building Corvette bodies, to manufacture those slab-sided rear panels. First-year Cameos came only in Bombay ivory with red trim, just like early Corvettes. You could get a 265 V8 with a Hydra-Matic automatic, power steering, even air conditioning. For a truck in '55, that was unheard of. Sales were strong that first year, over 5,000 units, but the high price slowly worked against it. As competitors offered their own styled pickups, the Cameo lost its edge. By '58, it was basically an Apache fleetside with fancier trim. Total production was roughly 10,000 units. Today, pristine examples command six figures, with the highest recorded sale reaching $330,000. The Cameo carrier changed what a pickup could be. Number 16, the Dodge Ram SRT-10. What happens when you take a full-size Ram pickup and stuff a Viper engine under the hood? You get the Dodge Ram SRT-10, one of the most insane factory-built trucks in American history. Introduced for the 2004 model year, this beast packed an 8.3-liter V10, producing 500 horsepower and 525 pound-feet of torque. 500 horses in a pickup truck. The regular cab short bed version came standard with a 6-speed manual transmission, which is absolutely bonkers for a vehicle this size. It could hit 60 miles per hour in under 5 seconds and topped out at 154 miles per hour, earning it a Guinness World Record as the fastest production pickup truck at the time. For 2005, Dodge added a quad cab version with an automatic, making it slightly more practical, but arguably less thrilling. Production ran through 2006, with roughly 10,000 units built across all years. That is not a huge number for a major manufacturer. The SRT-10 already turns heads wherever it goes. It is loud, it is fast, it drinks fuel like water, and it is completely, gloriously unnecessary. A factory-built muscle truck that makes absolutely no apologies for what it is. Number 15, the Dodge Leal Red Express. In 1978, the American automotive landscape was bleak for performance lovers. Emissions regulations had strangled muscle cars into wheezing shadows of themselves. Catalytic converters were mandatory on every car, every single car, but not trucks, not yet. Dodge read the fine print of the Clean Air Act and found a beautiful loophole. Light trucks weighing over 6,000 pounds were exempt from the requirement. So they took a short bed D150. I dropped in a modified 360 cubic inch Police Interceptor V8, making 225 horsepower, and created the Lil Red Express. It came in canyon red with gold pinstripes, wood-lined bed panels borrowed from the Warlock, and those iconic chrome vertical exhaust stacks rising behind the cab like an 18-wheeler. The result was the fastest American-made vehicle you could buy in 1978, faster than a Corvette from 0 to 100 miles per hour, a truck. The government closed the loophole for '79, requiring catalytic converters on trucks too, so the second-year models lost a bit of their edge. Dodge built 2,188 in '78 and 5,118 in '79, totaling just over 7,300. And they were part of Dodge's brilliantly named Adult Toys series, and they proved a truck could be a legitimate performance machine. Number 14, the Dodge Dakota Sport Convertible. In 1989, someone at Chrysler had an idea that was either genius or completely insane. They took the mid-sized Dodge Dakota, ripped off its roof, and replaced it with a folding canvas top. Just like that, America had its first modern production convertible pickup truck. The American Sunroof Corporation handled the conversions, turning standard Dakota Sport models into open-air machines. Under the hood sat a 125-horsepower V6, paired with a 5-speed manual or 4-speed automatic. The real story was that top. You could fold it down and cruise with wind in your hair and sun on your face. Sounds great in theory. In practice, the vinyl top leaked in the rain. The truck looked a bit awkward with the top folded down, and there was a serious question about safety in a rollover since only a thin roll bar stood between you and the pavement. The target audience was the Southern California surf crowd, and some did buy in, but not nearly enough. Dodge sold roughly 2,842 in '89, fewer than 910 the next year, and pulled the plug after '91. Total production came to approximately 3,759 units. Today, clean examples trade for under 10 grand, making it an affordable way to own one of the rarest Mopars ever built. Number 13, the Lincoln Blackwood. For most of its history, Lincoln built luxury sedans and the occasional SUV. A pickup truck was never part of the plan. Then, in 2002, someone decided to combine a Lincoln Navigator front end with an F-150 rear, wrap it in premium leather and wood trim, and call it the Blackwood. It was Lincoln's first pickup truck, and a spectacular failure. The bed was lined with carpet and stainless steel, illuminated by LEDs, and covered by a power tonneau cover that could not be removed. No traditional tailgate, just barn-style swing-out doors. It looked incredible, but it was completely impractical for truck work. You could not haul lumber, you could not throw mulch back there, you could not even get the bed wet without risking damage, and no four-wheel drive option, rear-wheel drive only, starting at around $52,000. So Lincoln built 3,383 Blackwoods before canceling it after a single model year. Unsold units sat on lots for years and had to be heavily discounted. It remains the rarest Lincoln ever produced and one of the most spectacular commercial failures in truck history. Number 12, the GMC Syclone. In 1991, GMC did something that should not have been possible. They took their humble little S15 compact pickup, a truck designed for light hauling and commuting, and turned it into something that could embarrass a Ferrari. The Syclone packed a 4.3-liter turbocharged V6, making 280 horsepower and 360 pound-feet of torque, sent to all four wheels through a 4-speed automatic borrowed from the Corvette. The result? A 0 to 60 in 4.3 seconds. Car and driver famously pitted it against a Ferrari 348, costing over 4 times as much, and the Syclone won. A pickup truck beat a Ferrari. Let that sink in. But the Syclone was not just about straight-line speed. It rode lower than a standard S15, came with a sport-tuned suspension, and was finished exclusively in black with subtle badging. Inside, a digital dashboard and leather seats made it feel genuinely special. GMC only built 2,995 Syclones during that single model year before moving on to the Typhoon SUV. Today, values have skyrocketed. Clean examples regularly fetch north of $40,000, and pristine ones push well beyond that. The truck that humiliated a supercar has become a supercar-priced collectible itself. What's number 11? The Shelby Dakota. In 1989, the legendary Carroll Shelby was deep into his partnership with Chrysler, having already helped create the Shelby Charger, the Omni GLHS, and the Dodge Viper concept. But then he turned his attention to something nobody expected, a pickup truck. The Shelby Dakota was based on the Dodge Dakota Sport and represented his first ever pickup and his first rear-wheel drive vehicle in 2 decades. Under the hood, Shelby swapped the standard V6 for a 5.2-liter V8, making 175 horsepower and 270 pound-feet of torque. He added an electric fan, a limited-slip rear axle, gas pressure shocks front and rear, and a front stabilizer bar to sharpen the handling. The exterior was unmistakable, with Shelby graphics across the upper windshield, down the sides and on the tailgate, plus blacked-out grille bumpers and fender flares that gave it real visual aggression. 0 to 60 came in about 8.5 seconds, with a quarter mile in the mid-15s. Not Viper fast, but respectable for a late 80s truck. Shelby built exactly 1,475 examples, split between white and red, with 640 wearing white. Each came with a numbered plaque and certificate of authenticity. Carroll Shelby's name carries enormous weight in the collector world, making these increasingly valuable. Number 10, the Jeep J10 Honcho. In the mid-1970s, Jeep decided that their full-size J-Series pickup trucks needed some serious personality. The result was the Honcho, a special edition package that turned the utilitarian J10 into something that looked ready to star in an action movie. The Honcho package included wide 8x15-inch spoke wheels wrapped in aggressive off-road tires, a sport steering wheel, and the pièce de résistance, a Levi's denim interior. Yes, your truck seats were covered in actual denim fabric. There was also a distinctive gold stripe running along the bedsides, fenders, and tailgate. Peak 70s style, and it was glorious. Under the skin, the Honcho was still a true Jeep through and through, with available four-wheel drive and a choice of inline-6 or V8 power. It could handle any trail you pointed it at while looking fantastic doing it. Production ran from 1976 to 1983, but exact numbers are hard to pin down because Jeep did not keep meticulous records of option packages back then. Best estimates put total Honcho production at around 1,264 units. The combination of genuine Jeep heritage, unforgettable 70s styling, and real off-road capability has made the Honcho one of the most sought-after vintage trucks in the entire collector market today. Number 9. The Chevrolet S10 EV. Long before the electric truck revolution, long before Rivian, the Lightning EV, or the Cybertruck, there was the Chevrolet S10 EV. In 1997, General Motors became the first major automaker to produce a fully electric pickup truck, converting their two-door, short-bed S10 work truck into a battery-powered machine. The powertrain was essentially an upgraded version of what powered the infamous GME V1 sedan, featuring a 114-horsepower AC induction motor and a 16.2 kilowatt-hour lead-acid battery pack. Range was modest, roughly 40 to 60 miles per charge, which limited its appeal mostly to fleet buyers and government agencies. Before production ended in '98, GM introduced a larger 39 kilowatt-hour nickel-metal hydride battery that roughly doubled the range, but it was too little, too late. Only about 1,100 S10 EVs were built, and most were leased to fleet customers. Eventually, many were recalled and crushed, much like the EV1 that inspired the documentary Who Killed the Electric Car? Surviving examples are extraordinarily rare today and represent a fascinating what-if moment in automotive history, decades before electric trucks went mainstream. If GM had stuck with this idea, the entire truck market might look different right now. Number 8. The 1957 International Harvester Golden Jubilee. International Harvester is a name most people associate with big rigs, farm equipment, and the rugged Scout. But in 1957, IH celebrated its 50th anniversary by creating one of the most beautiful and obscure pickup trucks in American history, the A100 Golden Jubilee. Based on the new A-Series trucks, the Golden Jubilee was a showpiece vehicle designed to compete with the Chevrolet Cameo Carrier in the emerging luxury truck market. It wore a stunning two-tone paint scheme with a golden lower section and white upper body, and it featured a panoramic windshield that gave it a distinctly modern look for the era. Inside, the cabin was remarkably luxurious for a truck, with three-tone vinyl door panels and car-like textured upholstery that put most 50s trucks to shame. Power came from a 220 cubic inch inline-six, rated at 113 horsepower. Not thrilling, but adequate for the time. Production numbers are debated, but the consensus among historians is that only about 500 Golden Jubilees were ever built. Most ended up on farms where they were worked hard and eventually scrapped. Today, while only 3 are believed to still exist, one fully restored example resides in the American Muscle Car Museum, and it is believed to be the only pristine one anywhere in the world. Number 7. The Ford F-250 Bigfoot Cruiser. If you grew up in the 1980s, you remember Bigfoot. Not the mythical creature, but the monster truck that crushed cars at rallies and became a pop culture phenomenon. Ford and Bigfoot creator Bob Chandler saw a marketing opportunity and partnered to create the Bigfoot Cruiser, a special edition F-250 that brought a taste of monster truck madness to the showroom floor. Built from '87 to '90, the Bigfoot Cruiser came loaded with aftermarket goodies: a worn Enforcer front bumper, a 3-inch lift kit, heavy-duty aftermarket shocks, 33-inch off-road tires, a double-hoop roll bar with off-road lighting, and bold Bigfoot graphics on the body. Under the hood sat Ford's 7.5-liter EFI V8, providing plenty of grunt for weekend adventures. Approximately 300 Bigfoot Cruisers were built. That sounds like a decent number until you learn what happened next. Some of the trucks experienced fires, and there were reports of higher-than-average accident rates. Ford got sued by owners, and all 300 Bigfoot Cruisers were recalled. The dealer fix? Remove virtually all the cool aftermarket parts that made them special. So finding an original, unmodified Bigfoot Cruiser today is nearly impossible. Most were stripped of their identity and returned to being ordinary F-250s, their monster truck dreams erased. Number 6. The Dodge Midnite Express. Everyone knows the Dodge Lil Red Express. It is a legend, but far fewer know about its sinister twin, the Midnite Express. While the Lil Red wore canyon red paint, the Midnite Express flipped the script with an all-black paint scheme, gold pinstripes, and a Midnite Express truck decal on the door. Same twin chrome exhaust stacks, same aggressive stance. But under the hood, a bigger, meaner engine, the 440 V8 producing 245 horsepower compared to the 360 in the Lil Red. The Midnite Express was never officially released by the factory as a standalone model. It was a dealer-installed package built on the Warlock platform, created for emission-strict states like California, where the Lil Red Express could not legally be sold. Since smog laws were so tight there, dealers offered this dark alternative instead. Enthusiasts call it the Evil Twin, and the nickname fits perfectly. Dodge produced only 200 Midnite Express trucks, all in '78. That makes it more than 36 times rarer than its famous red sibling. Finding one today is like chasing a shadow at midnight. Number 5. The Dodge Warlock 440. The Dodge Warlock was already special when it debuted in '77 as part of Dodge's adult toys lineup: gold-trimmed exterior, wood-paneled bed, chunky off-road tires. Most came with modest 6-cylinder or small-block V8 engines, but there was the option almost nobody ordered, the 440 cubic inch big block. This was Dodge's legendary 440, and the same engine family that powered iconic Mopar muscle cars of the late '60s. In the Warlock, it produced 255 horsepower, astronomical for a pickup in the late '70s, when most cars struggled to hit 200. A truck with more muscle than nearly every car on the road. Only 74 Warlocks were ever equipped with the 440 across the entire run from '77 through '79. 74 total. That makes a 440 Warlock one of the rarest Mopar vehicles of any type. Today, they are virtually impossible to find. Most collectors do not even know they exist, and the few that surface sell quietly among knowledgeable enthusiasts. If you stumble across one in a barn, you're looking at an extraordinarily valuable piece of Dodge history. Number 4. The Dodge Ram SRT10 VCA Edition. We already talked about the Dodge Ram SRT10 and its ridiculous Viper-powered V10 engine, but within the SRT10 lineup, there exists an even rarer variant that most people have never heard of, the VCA Edition. VCA stands for Viper Club of America, and this special edition was created exclusively for the 2004 model year. It packed the same 500 horsepower 8.3-liter V10 as the standard SRT10, but it came drenched in Viper electric blue paint contrasted by white racing stripes, a color combination that screamed Viper heritage from every angle. The VCA edition also featured unique badging and several bespoke visual enhancements that set it apart from the standard production models. How many were built? 50. Just 50. Out of the roughly 10,000 total SRT10s produced across all model years, only 50 wore the VCA badge. That makes it the rarest factory-built muscle truck variant by a significant margin. Today, a VCA edition in excellent condition commands a serious premium over a standard SRT10 at auction. Collectors who know about these trucks guard them fiercely, and sales are extraordinarily uncommon. If you ever spot one at a car show, take a long look and maybe snap a few photos, because the odds of seeing another one are slim to none. Number 3. The Rod Hall Signature Edition. Dodge Rod Hall was a legend in off-road racing. He competed in every single Baja 1000 from the race's inception in 1967 all the way through 2007. An unmatched 40-year streak of endurance, skill, and sheer determination. So when Dodge wanted to create a signature off-road truck, Hall was the natural partner. In 1990, Hall teamed up with the legendary Carroll Shelby, who had an existing relationship with Chrysler, to build a small batch of signature series trucks based on the Dodge Dakota. These were not just cosmetic packages. Each truck wore pre-runner-style bumpers, front and rear, a bed-mounted light bar, and Rod Hall driving lights. They were designed to look like they had just crossed the Baja finish line. Here is the ironic twist. All 33 trucks came equipped with Dodge's least powerful 8-cylinder engine, the 318 cubic inch V8, making a modest 170 horsepower. They looked fast, but were not particularly quick. Before this run, Dodge had actually produced 14 earlier Rod Hall signature editions, but the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration recalled every single one due to safety concerns. Few ever returned to their owner's hands. The 1990 batch of 33 represents essentially the only surviving examples, and even among those, locating one today requires serious detective work and connections. Number 2. The Ford Skyranger. If you have never heard of the Ford Skyranger, do not feel bad. Almost nobody has. In 1991, someone at Ford decided that what the Ranger pickup really needed was a full convertible soft top. Not a sunroof, not a T-top, but a complete folding roof, like a Jeep Wrangler, but on a pickup truck. The American Sunroof Company handled the conversions on the extended cab Ranger, equipped with a 4-liter Cologne V6 and all-wheel drive. It sat taller than a standard Ranger with a mild lift, and with the top down, it had a bold, adventurous look, unlike anything else Ford was selling at the time. It competed, at least in spirit, with the Dodge Dakota convertible and the Jeep Scrambler, both of which stirred up the market but did not last long either. Here is what makes the Skyranger almost mythical. Only 17 were ever built. 17. Ford never commissioned mass production. These were hand-built specialty vehicles, sold through Ford dealers, but not produced on any Ford assembly line. The last known example listed for sale appeared on eBay around 2015 for roughly $33,000, with no record of the final price. Nobody knows how many still exist today or where they are hiding. The Skyranger is the phantom of the Ford truck world, and a machine that has become more legend than reality. Number 1. The 1962 GMC Fenderside Railroad Crew Cab. And here it is, the rarest American pickup truck ever built. In '62, GMC did not build crew cab trucks at their own factories. Third-party coach builders like Crown Steel Products in Ohio stretched standard GMC pickups into crew cab configurations for industrial clients. A small number were purpose-built for the railroad industry, modified with rear flange steel wheels and retractable front wheels for driving on railroad tracks. They transported 6-man work crews to remote rail sites, functioning as both road and rail vehicles. Only 6 of these specialty order Fenderside crew cab trucks were ever made. 6. According to best records, just one confirmed example survives in the United States, with possibly 3 more in Canada, unverified. The surviving truck runs the standard GMC 305 DV6. If you saw one, you would probably mistake it for a custom build because nothing about it resembles a production vehicle. It was built for the rails, and it has become the ultimate unicorn of American truck collecting. And there you have it, 20 of the rarest American pickup trucks ever built, from the retro-styled SSR all the way down to a railroad crew cab that only 6 people ever got to drive. Which one surprised you the most? Have you ever actually seen any of these trucks in person? Drop your stories in the comment section below. We would love to hear them. If you enjoyed this countdown, hit that like button, subscribe, and tap that notification bell so you never miss another video. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.